we go.
Game on!
So, we're going to go through what we mainly want this podcast to be about.
Yeah.
Which, to summarise it, is pretty much music, horror. That's pretty much it for me and you.
Yeah.
Maybe some paranormal adventures. I know you definitely have.
That would be good.
Yeah. Podcast while we're going through an abandoned building or something.
Yeah. What, using EVPs trying to like speak to like fucking ghosts and stuff.
Just an excuse to do it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about like what got us into music and...
Yeah, start off there and we'll naturally go off the idea of what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So, for me, before I picked up an instrument, it was listening to Slipknot. And that made me want to learn how to play drums. That's where it all started. And then I think that's what's got me into horror and the weird shit that comes with it as well.
Yeah.
But obviously we've got eclectic music tastes anyway. But what was yours? I feel yours is going to be very odd. Like, Take That or something, because
it was weird.
There's some love there for it.
Well, I grew up just listening to loads of 80s music, really, and then, I don't know, I was really into, like, Busted, like, as well, like, when I was in,
Busted?
when I was in primary school, because I remember doing, like a talent show in primary school where, like, me and this other guy, were, like, kind of, like, dressed up as Busted, and we were performing on stage as, like, a hostess, so then... And I was like, holding like a fake guitar, so I guess that was sort of like a foreshadowing of what was to come. And then...
Wait, which one from Busted did you dress up as?
I think it was Matt.
Okay.
Yeah. Share the same name, and he's cool,
Yeah.
so... and he plays bass as well, how weird's that?
Shit. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely
Definitely foreshadowing what.
Yeah. What? Yeah. But then from there, it was just in high school and like just getting into different sorts of music. Because at first I was only really into like obviously all my like 80s, and then I got into like chuffy music. That was a bad stage. That.
See,
bad
weirdly,
stage.
I never had that stage.
You
I
can't.
never got into it.
I don't know. I couldn't really avoid it.
MCing and
Yeah, and then obviously I met all my like friends in high school, and then they was into like different kinds of rock music, and then from there just kind
that's
of
how we met as well, was
yeah
from high schools next to one another.
yeah
We'd all hang out.
yeah man, straight after school,
Yeah.
mess around for
Hang
a bit.
around together, and then who knew it would end up being jamming together,
Yeah.
bands, projects, which is all sorts of fun.
Yeah, it's cool.
Um,
Yeah, from there they were just like joining a band in high school, and then yeah, that's
Yeah, I
Fun.
think the band you had in high school motivated the other group of friends to start their band. and
Yeah.
Thankfully, I was involved there, which
Yeah.
was fun.
that was good though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I loved the like when we were in a band was the random jamming. It wouldn't have to be like the singer or the guitarist there. If me and you were there, we'd end up playing Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, just
Rearranged
coming out with
or
different
just
stuff.
something random. And I loved whenever we were songwriting, you'd go, no, do that, but then go da 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 da.
Yeah,
Be like,
trying
I
to
don't
explain
understand.
drums, but
yeah, playing drums with my mouth. It was great. I loved it. There's such a laugh.
That's good.
But yeah, like we both love 80s music,
Yeah,
and
we both love.
sure,
horror
I love
movies.
80s cheesy pop as well. But when
Yeah,
I mean
like,
80s music, I mean like Duran Duran,
Oh yeah, like any 80s music like that.
Kraftwerk, yeah.
But the thing is, like, they were like some of them like genres, especially like Kraftwerk. That was like an innovation, wasn't it? That was like their
Yeah.
own thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They
Like,
broke rules and
yeah,
really changed
and
sounds.
obviously synth and all that was coming in through like the back end of the 70s, like new wave and stuff, and then you know what I mean. You had like Gary Newman
Yeah,
and people like
I
that.
think
just
Cars is one
bringing
of my
it in.
favourite
Yeah, do you know what I
all-time
mean?
songs.
And that just brought everything into it, and then also obviously that shows within like soundtracks from the 70s as well.
Yeah.
So like John Carpenter, like
Yeah,
use
he
of all
used
those different
synths and-
synths and stuff. So it
Which now-
completely just changed everything.
Yeah, which are now like a huge price point, and these idolized synthesizers that everyone wants to emulate in plugins and stuff. What's fun is we've become like huge fans of the stuff, but then we've also studied it, so we've seen how, oh, we're a fan of this band, but here's the impact they've had on music as a whole, which is nice to see, and I think we get a better appreciation for it. Which definitely blended into soundtracks. And I think that's where we've lately been having the biggest laugh with, is listening to classic soundtracks, because
it's that finding out what went into them as well, like what instruments they used, what kind of techniques they was using themselves. You know what I mean?
It gets you excited to just create something, doesn't it?
100%.
Every time we've ended up watching a John Carpenter in the studio, I'm like, oh, look at him using a bow on the guitar. That's wrong. Let's do something as weird as that.
But it sounds so cool,
yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah, and just randomly recording shit. Half of it might not come out, but it's still fun to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just simple ideas like that you just come up with, and they completely change, like how a soundtrack would sound like, and what kind of direction it goes in. And, it's cool.
It's weird that it's mainly horror that it's had an impact on as well. Yeah. So I don't really see any happy films like, oh, that was a classic soundtrack where we go, thanks to the synthesizer, or anything.
I think it's more like action and horror, isn't it? Like, obviously you got your Hans Zimmer and all that, but that's more orchestral.
But I think, for me personally, seeing that and then like the studio processes they do, that got me excited, and I end up looking into that more and more. So that's
push you further more into
getting into it, yeah. But then I also have a worry of, if I do end up working in the music industry, which is the ultimate goal, as we were previously discussing, because it's my job, will I hate it? I have that worry all the fucking time. Do you never have that worry?
I know what you mean. I guess, but when you've got it, you've got to like appreciate, you put all that hard work into it, you've got there.
That's what you've done it for.
Yeah,
I think you're right. How's still being in a band for you? Because that is something I really enjoyed doing for a chunk of years, but I also hated, and I don't think I'd do it again. So I'm interested to see, like, I don't think I'd do a usual band.
We've been in obviously like 3 different bands over the past, we've been doing it since 2010?
This isn't just
2009, 2010,
we're in
so
a
it's
band,
been
we
even
play
up 10 years, yeah.
It's not just we're in a band, we play together, you invest money, you look at artwork, you come up with ideas, and they're all different from one another, so you're not rinse and repeating anything.
Well, the first band, it was more like, oh, we've just started a band, we'll go record an EP, we'll get signed and all this stuff, and then you're like... You realise that
get each other excited.
It's nothing like that. Like, you know what I mean? We completely overshot it. We thought it was like, well, good, but
that's a good thought to have, because you push one another and you get each other excited about it.
And it was cool just experiencing that first band and like recording an EP and going playing some like decent shows
and selling
and then selling the EP and stuff, and
which in a sense is DIY way of being involved in the music industry.
Well, I think we did we just did everything ourselves, even getting onto some good shows and that, and then obviously from there we went on to Trapped in Autumn, and then
which was a laugh.
2 EPs and a single, and then obviously you joined us for the single towards the end, went all the way to Chelsea and London to record that, which again it was a really good experience, but you're investing so much money.
You invest so much,
because you don't realise how much goes behind a band, because you got your promotion, your music videos, you actually obviously cost of your EP and stuff, plus your travel.
It was eye opening for me, because we've studied music, all of us. Well, me. By the way, I'm Matt, and you're Matty. And then the other Matt, who's going to be involved in this podcast, we're going to refer to as Lun. We're all in a band together. But it was eye-opening for me, because we were all involved in music. We all studied it. We all looked at PR and how to promote. and then it's just investing everything we had into it. And speaking of recording in London, in Chelsea, we bonded over rap music, which we didn't realise each other loved.
Oh man, who was it?
Vic
Mensa. Yeah.
We were driving through London.
Who would have thought,
lost, jamming to
two
Vic Mensa.
two little moshes.
Two little moshes.
As they would say back in high school, yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah. It was good.
And then we end, yeah.
And again, that just shows you how much, like, variety we've got. Like, I listen to everything now. I mean, like, I used to have a really, like, straightforward thing where I just listened to rock music and I was just into, like, just that kind of stuff. Obviously, apart from, like, 80s and that. And now I just listen to everything. I love blues. Like, obviously, we're big into, like, soundtrack music as well.
Yeah, we were driving on the way here, listening to soundtracks.
Yeah, just any genre you can think of. Plus, like, when you're playing a certain instrument, for me, like, obviously, like, getting into bass as well, like, I felt
think
like
that's such a underappreciated piece of equipment.
Like, it has obviously had massive effects with, like, funk and soul music and stuff like that. And just listening to that music as well just gets you into it a lot more. And then I think really just that, and then just through word of mouth and just, like, networking as well, and getting to know different people, and then they're, like, bouncing back with you, and then
and working with, like, freelancer, like, photographers that you get to know, and you build up a good relationship with one another.
Yeah,
it's fun because you get to appreciate other people's work as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, what are some of your favourite bands that you of all time? Should we say
bands of all time? Jeff Buckley's, like, 100%, like, probably my favourite
artist.
Yeah,
all time.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I've got favourite bands, but he's probably my favourite like artist.
Okay.
100%. Then there's obviously him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which there you go. So you've gone from Jeff Buckley to goth rock.
Yeah, goth rock.
What?
I get that though.
Love it, yeah.
Yeah, but I think everyone has an eclectic music taste, but
yeah,
I think it's very rare we find something we dislike.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it is, it's just because it's just not interesting enough. Like, you don't mind listening to it.
No.
But yeah.
That's what I mean. But I don't know. I love loads of 80s music, and then recently I've been getting a lot into, like, a lot of, like, 70s, 80s goth side of stuff. You know, like the alternative scene, because there's it's so good. You don't realise. Like,
it's not appreciated enough.
Oh, it's not. You don't realise.
Well, like who?
Like Barhouse and Susie and the Banshees and...
Yeah, you're naming bands and artists I don't know.
Exactly, like, you don't realise, but these guys had a massive impact as well, and, like, the scene, these are the guys who created goth.
Yeah.
When goth wasn't even a thing.
It's so strange, but that's all you need to do. Doesn't matter what you're doing. As long as it inspires one other person, that can make them do anything. Like, my favourite is watching those in the studio of whatever artist. It was one of Nirvana. Butch Vig, the producer, is talking. The only reason Kurt Cobain double-tracked is because John Lennon did. You never put those two side by side.
I never even knew that.
Yeah. Which, and a fun one is on the Middle 8 of Drain You.
Yeah.
All that squeaking is dog toys. I think it's going through like a Leslie cabinet, so it's spinning and creating that whirling panning effect.
Did you not see the story about when Guns N' Roses were recording Rocket Queen, and there's a bit towards the end of the song where there's like a girl moaning, and apparently I think it was Izzy's girlfriend or something, but Axl went into the studio with one of the girlfriends and started shagging her in the like the vocal booth, and then they decided to record. Someone hit record and decided to record that, and apparently that's what made it onto.
I love onto that. Like, that small random stuff gets you excited. Like, it was so simple. We could do something that simple. I know on Slipknot's second album, Iowa, the intro, it's called 515.
Yeah.
It's Sid, the DJ, crying in the booth, reversed because his grandfather died.
Jesus.
Like, it's fucked up, but when listening to it, you would never think that's what it is.
No.
Like, we've been working on some stuff and we randomly recorded a shoe squeaking and it became a musical.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, the Slipknot thing, it's like tragedy, but turned into a piece of art.
Yeah. And then what I like about all this now is, with YouTube being a thing, you discover artists. There's a guy called Andrew Wong, and he's just... Andrew Wong? Yeah. He's just a YouTuber who creates loads of music from found sound, so he'll randomly record stuff. What's so funny?
Wong.
Huang. Huang. I had to think then.
Wait. H.
U-A-N-G.
Right, we're going to have to cut this
Did I
bit
say
out.
J? No, we'll just leave it in.
Leave it in?
Yeah, absolutely. Just know how wrong that is. Or how wrong we got it.
Yeah, I thought it was as in...
Do you think W?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Maybe that was my pronunciation. 'Cause
Right.
I've got tinnitus at the minute. That's what I'll blame it on.
Right, let's go back to music.
Well, no, let's go to horror films.
Well, what are your favourite artists? We know.
Oh, okay. Slipknot, as I said.
Yeah.
Because I think I actually got to see a band put effort into the look that they have, as well as the music. And then there's this pianist I really love called Joep Beving from Amsterdam. I only found him because of Spotify a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he's so, like, I don't know, it's so weird. Such a weird transition. Like, I love the new metal stuff, but I don't know, it's a bit of everything.
It's a nice break though, isn't it, as well?
It's what?
There's so much metal you can listen to.
Yeah, let's actually have a look at my recently played so then I can actually tell you. I've been listening to a lot of Survive at the minute, which is the composers of Strange Things, the band. I listen to a lot of podcasts lately, which means I've not been listening to
Billy Idol.
enough music. Yeah, Billy Idol.
Oh, man.
Why not? Jurassic Park soundtrack. Super Mario soundtrack. It's very weird.
Is that hits of the 50s?
It was, because there's a song that me and Jess were listening to. It's very creepy. I can't remember what film it's. Oh, it's used in American Horror Story.
Alright.
Probably can't play it because that'll be copyright.
Yeah.
But let me find what it's actually called. Yeah, because I used Shazam to find it, so it randomly found it on this album for some reason. Let's have a look. Tonight You Belong to Me by Patience and Prudence. We'll play a little clip, maybe? Fuck it. If I can
It's not gonna work,
navigate
yeah.
on the phone.
Right, so again, listening to stuff like that. So in the 50s, this is like,
This is pop, this is
this
mainstream,
is the
and now it's this creepy...
yeah, but it's because you've seen it in that context.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's been put with that effect. It's like Tiny Tim with Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
And it's
that was like
Insidious.
that was like a hit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
that was hugely popular, but because...
people used to love that, and because
we'll probably go a little deep here, because you've watched it with a horror film, now your connotations...
of that song.
Of the song, it's twisted, it's creepy.
Yeah.
There's actually a name for it, because one of the first times you see it so obviously is in Reservoir Dogs, as he's cutting off this guy's ear. You have Stuck in the Middle with You playing, which is a bubblegum pop song as this guy's ear's being torn off. So it's the opposite of what you're expecting, which makes it a bit more creepy and sadistic.
It's weird, isn't it? It's like Hip to Be Square.
Yeah. Oh,
American
fucking
Psycho.
love American Psycho. That is one of my favourite horrors.
Yeah, it is good.
I love Jared Leto in it, where he's like, "Is that a raincoat?" It is. and his like Phil Collins music's in there.
Yeah.
That's a great soundtrack for a weird. Would you call it horror? Would you call it thriller? It's a bit of both.
It is a bit of both.
But that's
it's a psychological thriller, I think.
That's something else we're going to talk about is horror and probably thrillers that we love. Because I think music's pushed us, especially being fans of metal, into enjoying horror films. I used to hate horror films. I was a little bitch about them.
I started watching horror films at too young of an age, to be honest with you. I started off with Goosebumps, and then Goosebumps went to...
Goosebumps?
Oh, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I had like freaky Goosebumps was at the time.
It was.
Courage the Cowardly Dog as well. How freaky was that?
Courage the Cowardly Dog was creepy.
Yeah.
I think Goosebumps is on Netflix. I'm sure.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm sure. I walked in the other day and Jess was watching it. I'll go check,
love
though.
Goosebumps. But yeah, and then I think by 8 I was sat down. I remember one moment when I was a kid and I was eating my sandwiches during the day, and I think it was playing on the it was playing on the TV, and I was sat watching it. Yeah, but it didn't bother me. It never bothered me. Is that bad?
I think so. Do you know what? I had a similar experience. My family were away because my sister had some hobby, so they went away, and my mum said, "Oh, why don't you go stay with your friend?" I was a child, by the way, about 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So we go away, staying in this hotel, and the mother that's looking after me, not my mother, a friend's mother, she's like, "Oh, let's all sit down, we'll watch Kill Bill together." I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. It fucking terrified me. I was like, this is fucked up, but it's a great film. But yeah, that's probably not the best either.
No.
Like 7 or 8 watching Kill Bill. She's punching away out the coffin.
Well, we didn't end up fucked up, so you know.
Well, we think it's fun to record ourselves as we're sat in a car. maybe a little.
Yeah. Well, when it's like foggy as.
Yeah, where we've decided to record because we've not found a dedicated space yet is in my car. Up probably the sketchiest place we could decide to park.
On top of a huge hill, it's got a good view, but you can't see anything at the moment because it's like...
As soon as we saw fog, listening to those soundtracks on the way up, Halloween started playing.
Yeah.
Which was great. Yeah. So, I think our ideas for the podcast, we're also going to have commentary on horror films that we love.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be interesting and fun.
As we're watching them.
Yeah, as we're watching them. We've got some already lined up that we want to do. I know Lun wants to talk about music industry stuff.
Yeah.
I want to talk about music equipment.
Yeah.
Just because I finally took myself out of, I play drums and pretend to make music on a computer.
Yeah.
And bought a synth, got really into it. This will probably be some random episodes of me just ranting, or me ranting to one of you two, or both of you. It'll happen. But yeah, and then
there's a lot of horror stuff. Yeah, just
a lot of horror stuff that we'll talk about.
Quite a lot.
So that seems to be the majority of what me and you really get into.
Yeah.
We were watching John Carpenter a while ago. There'll definitely be a...
And a few days before that, we were watching the Halloween in the cinema.
Yeah. Yeah, Halloween 2018.
And the original.
And we watched, the 1978 one in the cinema, which I felt
it's so much better on the big screen, though, isn't it?
Very, I wasn't alive when that came out, so to be able to watch it, it's pretty nice. Not to be like, I'd never get this opportunity again, sure, but it's fucking...
It was cool. Fun. You can tell, especially from when John Carpenter said himself in interviews, it was made for the big screen, but you can tell. So, imagine, we were watching it, and obviously, it doesn't affect the audience in the same way as it would have done back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Pardon me. But yeah, like you can tell, like if you didn't have the soundtrack there, the movie would be completely useless.
Yeah.
Like imagine having the scene with, you know what I mean. Say with like when Michael, like pins Bob up against that wall and stabs him, and you know what I mean, sticks him to the cupboard or whatever. Imagine like having that scene, but with like the music and stuff
when
like
Bob
that.
dies.
Or even having bits where you just see Michael in the garden and stuff, but without those little like
the little high pitched.
Just little bits like that
make the character, because they're called leitmotifs in composing, which is like the best leitmotif is Darth Vader's, because as soon as anyone goes bum 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 ba ba, you know exactly who it is. You know it's a bad connotation.
Yeah. But it's like it's just that coming through, like, so that whole soundtrack as well just sounds so much better. It's a lot more effective through the big screen rather than watching Halloween at home. But it's that dissonance as well that you get in some parts, and it really grinds your ears when you're watching it in the cinema.
Yeah.
And it just makes you feel uneasy.
It makes it uncomfortable to watch, and that's the purpose. Isn't it?
It's really good.
As you can tell, we'll probably that'll go on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because we've definitely got opinions on it. We'll point out Easter eggs, and we'll probably watch it and do a commentary.
Oh, we'll get talking about Bob and his bloody dirty habits.
Yeah, let's not go there. We'll save it for a future one. But that is something we only just noticed recently.
God.
Pedo Bob.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll tell you about that another time. But that's something that, with the music and the film being paired together, there's usually an argument between people who are heavily in film and people like us who are heavily in music.
Yeah.
Whereas our perspective is, it's half of the film is the music. Whereas once I was doing a film for someone, and he said, I see music as the bow that you tie a present round, which to me was like, so it's not worth that much to your film.
No.
Is the point in me doing it? There is point, but that's just a difference of opinion. But my argument is, watch a horror film on mute, you're not going to jump at it.
No, not at all. A horror film is not a horror film without the soundtrack.
Yeah. Like, you think about Psycho and...
But then again, you get your early horror films.
But that's what
50s,
I mean.
50s, and then obviously earlier horror films.
Well, if we go to... Like,
but again, they have some sort of, like, silent
1922, silent era. But the visuals are creepy, but the audio... What would happen when you watched a film in the silent era is there'd be a piano accompanying what you're watching live.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you'd have a live piano, and this musical score would be sent out to theatres or whatever they called them then, picture houses, and they'd play along to the screen.
So cool.
Very cool. But you also had different versions. So say me and you went to watch Nosferatu 1922 in Manchester. Probably not going to be there, but we went watching it in Manchester, and then we thought it was good, should we go watch it again? So we take Lun and we go watch it in Liverpool, and it's a different player, so he's going to play that score a little differently than what we watched. It creates different experiences, which is nice.
That's insane, I never knew that.
But they lost the music for it, so now you have people...
They lost the music for Nosferatu?
Yeah.
There must be somewhere.
No, they've lost it, so...
They made loads of copies, wouldn't they?
You'd think, but as far as I'm aware, they've lost it. Because one of my dissertations I did was make a modern soundtrack for a silent film, and it's a popular thing people are doing. Is composers are making soundtracks for silent films because you don't have any preconceived connotations because you've never watched that film before. You've never heard what it's supposed to sound like. Whereas if The Shining, like we were talking about earlier, if I did something different, you go, yeah, it works, but it's not The Shining.
Yeah.
So they've gone for that route, which is nice. I like it anyway.
Yeah.
It's a decent idea. And then we're probably also going to talk about, weirdly, it comes into horror, but ghosts, paranormal shit. Probably UFOs will pop up at some point.
Oh, yeah. Conspiracies.
Well, with a pinch of salt.
A pinch of conspiracies.
Pinch of conspiracies. Yeah.
Because we live on a flat Earth.
No, we didn't. There's a video I seen not so long ago, and it's a guy proving that the Earth is round. This flat earther. It's so.
How can you
funny.
prove that?
It's so funny. Like, they drill holes in between these pieces of wood that are so many meters apart.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, the holes are drilled at 17 meters. 17 meters. So as our friend shines a light at 17 meters from 17 meters where he stood,
Yeah.
we should see the light. And he doesn't. And he says, okay, lift it over your head, and then you can see the light to prove that there's a Earth has curvature. Yeah. It's so funny.
Oh, I thought you meant he was trying to prove there was a flat Earth.
No, well, he is, but
Yeah.
it just fails miserably.
Yeah.
He believes there's a flat Earth. I don't get how anyone can think that.
No.
If you believe there's a flat Earth, stop listening to this podcast, unsubscribe, or something like that. Jesus. Yeah. But there has been, like, it's weird. I can willingly say I know there's not a flat Earth, but UFOs and aliens might exist. I kind of believe in that as well. But
Well,
I
I'm
don't
not
believe
even
in
going to get
Jesus.
into this just yet. Because there's a whole another podcast.
It is. This is supposed to be a nice...
We'll go off on one.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a nice short... like, this is what this
No,
podcast is going to be
Doesn't
about.
want to get too heavy just yet.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're ending it pretty much soon.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Before we do, we've already spoke about it, but we may as well do it again. What's the most overrated and underrated horror film? And then the most overrated and underrated artist.
Oh, Jesus, man. Why do you do this to me? That's a big one.
Give Matty some shit for whatever he says.
You go first.
No, I asked you. Decisions. I'll give you my overrated and underrated film.
Right, go on.
Horror film, specifically. Overrated horror film, Paranormal Activity.
I can agree with you there.
I don't think it's a good horror film. It's
Yeah.
cheap. You watch that on mute, you're not going to jump once. It just uses very loud noises to scare you.
Yeah.
And then, underrated, All Hallows Eve. Just because lately I've been loving it. And we really like that weird, fucked up clown.
Yeah.
So what's
See,
your...
Terrifier is like, it's like a B movie, but I mean that's a pretty good movie. That.
Yeah, I think short films and B movies don't get...
I mean, there isn't really much to it story wise, is there? Really? It's more like just a psychotic,
a visual
clown.
and yeah, it's fucked up.
But it's
That's
pretty
what we
creepy
like
though,
about
isn't it? Yeah.
I think the makeup on the clown, the character itself, the performance is amazing by whoever plays that clown, which I'll look up because we probably should give someone credit. But go on, while I look that up.
Oh, no, it's proper controversial though.
Oh.
You know what I'm gonna say for
Do
my
it.
overrated.
Do it.
Like, it's a really good film, and the soundtrack to it is amazing, right? But I think The Exorcist is overrated.
I think a lot of people will agree with you.
I think it's really overrated. Like I said, don't get me wrong, it's a good film. It's a good film. And the soundtrack to it is amazing. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
It is. It's iconic,
flawless.
but it's
Yeah.
aged, as
Yeah.
we were previously discussing that, weren't we?
yeah.
It's aged.
But I definitely do think that it is an overrated film. So there you go. It's said.
Okay, so what is the most underrated horror film
man.
at the moment for you?
At the moment.
Yeah.
Um.
Because no doubt in a couple of years people are going to say, why don't you say the 2019 Pet Sematary that isn't out yet? That's underrated.
I'm not too sure. There's too many horror films I've watched that.
Okay, to interrupt very quickly, David Howard Thornton plays the clown in Terrifier. And he does a fucking awesome job at it. You'd never think it was him. What else has he been in? Gotham. Oh, is it a different clown for All Hallows Eve? That's interesting. And the clown is called Art the Clown. Did you know that was his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Let's have a look. I think... Yeah, I don't think it lists it unless it comes under Trickster. I don't know. Not going to give him credit. Anyway, your underrated horror film.
Oh, man. Put me on the spot here.
We've got to do music next. I don't even know what I'd say for that.
I don't know. Underrated horror film.
What have you liked lately that you feel doesn't get the attention it deserves?
I really don't know.
Alright, should we go to music?
Let's go to music and we'll come back to it.
Do you want to do your music first or should I?
Go on, go first.
Overrated music. I don't think we can include pop because that's a natural assumption that...
I think with pop music, it's just too easy to listen to, innit? So obviously the majority of the people...
But I'm guilty of it as well. Like,
just listen to it because it's easy. It's easy
Yeah.
to listen to, and
It's
that's why it's so
convenient.
popular.
this is popular. It's convenient to listen to.
It's force-fed to you as well.
It's what?
Like, force-fed to you. You hear it everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you do. But I end up listening to it and going, that's not too bad. I wouldn't go out my way to search for it.
No.
But if it's on, I'm not going to complain. Like Ariana Grande. I don't mind listening to Ariana Grande. I've admitted it.
Yeah. Like, obviously listen to it like every so often. Like, I probably mind it. I'm not exactly Ariana Grande. Like, I don't listen.
I'm not
to
going
that,
out
but...
buying the vinyl anytime soon.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's real dedication.
Yeah.
Overrated band. See, my brother has a controversial one. He thinks the most overrated band is...
Let me guess.
Go on.
Beatles.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, I knew he was gonna.
Yeah.
I thought it was either going to be Beatles or Oasis. One of them.
Oh, I dislike Oasis.
Do you not like them?
No. I don't know why either.
I don't know. I can see why the Beatles were so popular at the time.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go for that one myself. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to put Beatles in my overrated list because I have an appreciation for what they've done.
Yeah.
And just the practice. That's how they got so good.
Yeah.
But I think overrated... Oh, I don't want to say it, but I think you're going to hate me.
Do it.
I think it's Aerosmith.
Aerosmith, really?
Yeah. I just personally, I cannot get into them. And I like Steven Tyler, and I've listened to interviews with him, and I think... Yeah, I can't get into the music. So that's why I think it's overrated. But we went download together, and it was so funny on the Sunday when Aerosmith were playing that you went, I'm getting near the front. Like, you'd taken your top off for Steven Tyler. Now I'm joking, but that's how it felt. I was so happy
so close
for
to
you.
catching his harmonica. Like,
I didn't know he threw it.
yeah, he threw it, and it landed like right next to me. And I was like, are you messing?
That'd have been so good.
It's crazy.
Underrated band.
That's a good Aerosmith song as well.
So, with a underrated band, I don't think we can really plug our friends' bands. It's got to be someone who's known, but we think doesn't get enough attention. Fuck. Why did I ask this question?
Do you see how difficult it is?
Yeah, it is.
Because there's so much music and there's so many movies out there.
Yeah, like there could be a horror film that I've not seen. That, clearly because it's underrated. Yeah. Go on, what's your overrated artist? And then we'll go back to under. Just because I can't think of one.
Overrated artist.
No pressure.
I don't know with that.
Yeah.
Because obviously without bringing up pop music and stuff.
I think I regret asking this question.
Yeah.
Should we just leave it on a blank and you'll have to listen to the next episode to find out if we answer this question.
Oh, we ended this podcast well.
Yeah. There you go.
We fucked ourselves over.
Yeah.
Big time.
Put ourselves in a corner. Like mopped ourselves into
We
a
actually
corner.
did.
Can't go back. And we also, at the moment, need to work on intro and outro music.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Are you happy with anything? Anything you feel we've not spoke about?
We've covered a lot, haven't we? But we don't want to expand on too much because we've got a
'cause it's
lot
gonna be
more episodes
standalone
to look forward
episodes.
to. Yeah.
But we may as well say, if you're listening, then subscribe, tell people, thank
Yeah,
you.
Hit us up on social media as well. Let us know what you think and
Give
Yeah.
Matty shit.
let us know that we've got people listening.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Going into that inspiration thing
Yeah.
and going off on a tangent here.
Yeah.
That's my goal with this podcast. Is I'd love the idea of being able to talk to friends about music. Ooh, friends. Well, yeah, the little friends I have, I get to talk to them about music industry. It's an excuse to have a night, like a conversation.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we all do it enough about what we like about the music industry.
I think we just talked so much about it, like in our just our normal conversations. That was kind of the reason for starting to do this podcast because
Yeah.
you're big into podcasts. When then we were just chatting about getting into like horror movies and chatting about horror movies and stuff. I was like, why aren't we?
Yeah, we may as well just share our
Yeah.
thoughts. If you like it, great. If you don't, cool. We at least tried it.
Yeah.
So my goal is more conversations with people about it, and even if one person thinks it's pretty listenable, then please tell us, because we'll probably continue. My goal is 8 episodes so far. If we can get to 8 episodes, I'd feel good.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's too ridiculous to...
No, well, we've got
Yeah.
loads of stuff to talk about and we can go off on
Yeah.
one.
The only
So-
downside is everyone hates hearing themselves, so we're definitely not listening to this.
100% not.
But if you do, tell us. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Cool.
Cool. Bye.